Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. I hope you had a wonderful week. This week's video is dedicated to a good friend, a good listener, Isaiah. Mazel tov to you and your wife upon the birth of Dahlia. May you and your wife go from simcha to simcha. And alar anachas. And this week's parasha, the Haftarah of this week's parasha, Haftaras Lech Licha, is again from the book of Isaiah, in which the prophet is asking us a simple question. Why are you doubting Hashem? Why doubt? You have so much history to look at and see how Hashem has extricated everybody from the scenario that they've been in. And the same thing could apply for you. There's many stages that we go throughout life that we're worrying, we're full of worry, we're wondering how we're going to have success, how we're going to get out of it, what's going to be, how are we going to be successful, get hot under the collar. We don't know what to do. So the Navi, the prophet, is telling us, what do you mean? Look at Avram Avinu. Look at Abraham. What happened to him? He was in the east, and Ur Kasdim, and Hashem came to him and told him, get up and get out and go. You got to go. And while it may have seemed like to be a very daunting thing, he went ahead and did it, and his entire life got changed around for the better. And also at the time that Hashem told him that, let him know that his nephew Lot was captured by the four kings, Abraham ran into battle. He ran into battle, and he was able to overcome these four kings. And of course, these four kings are really a remez, a hint to the four exiles that the future Jewish people, the seed of Avram, are going to go through. But the prophet tells us, Al tira Yaakov, ki itcha ani, and because I am with you, and Hashem calls us Zera Avram Ayavi. We are the children of Hashem's beloved Abraham, meaning the same way Hashem saved Avram Avinu, saved Abraham from all the travails that he went through, and all the trials and tribulations that he went through, and everything that he went through, and ultimately he was rabbi successful. So too the Jewish people also in the future. Also look at Moses, the prophet tells us. Moses was in Egypt, sent to Ethiopia, brought back to Egypt to help the Jewish people themselves get out of Egypt. At the time it seemed like a very daunting task, like how is this going to happen? But to what everybody back then does, it's like a quick story in a book, but then it was so many years that it took place, and people were filled with doubt. How is this going to happen? So therefore, the message that the Navi is saying, why are you doubting Hashem? The same is going to be true of us. And right now, we're in a scenario in our lives where even today that we're going, how is this going to happen? How can I lead a successful life? But most people who actually dedicate their lives even a little bit towards a seriousness towards Hashem will look back when they're 70. They had children or grandchildren that actually they were successful, and Hashem extricated them from many scenarios. And they thought that they would fail here, fail there, whether it was in finance, whether it was with the children, whether it was health issues. Most people, thankfully, ultimately do have success. But at the time, we have to think, instead of thinking rather, how is this going to happen? Rather, learn from Abraham and Moses that Hashem was able to help them be successful, that we shouldn't have any doubt. And also, the four kings, like we said before, that Abraham got saved from, those four exiles, we're in these exiles. We're like, when is Mashiach going to come? But we have to realize right now, the same way Hashem took us out of the land of Egypt, and the same way Hashem took Abraham out of his situation where he was in Iraq, where he was getting persecuted by King Nimrod, and eventually he saved his life and pulled him out, yanked him, brought him to the land of Israel. So too one day Hashem will yank us out of the four exiles that we've endured so far, and one day we will very happily go on to the land of Israel, all of us together. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.